Good morning. Could you please tell me your full name?
Good morning. My name is John Smith.
Thank you, John. Now, in this first part, I'd like to ask you some questions about yourself. Let's start with your hometown. Can you describe your hometown for me?
Of course. I'm from a small town called Willowville. It's located in the countryside, surrounded by beautiful green fields and forests. It's a peaceful place with friendly people.
That sounds lovely. What kind of things do people do for fun in your hometown?
Well, since it's a small town, there aren't many entertainment options, but people often go for nature walks, have picnics in the park, or visit the local community center for events and social gatherings.
Great. Now, let's talk about food. What is a traditional dish from your country that you enjoy?
I really enjoy eating fish and chips. It's a classic British dish. The fish is usually deep-fried and served with thick-cut fries. It's simple but delicious.
I see. Now, let's move on to the second part of the test. I'm going to give you a topic, and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. You'll have 1 minute to prepare. Please take this cue card, and your topic is describe a memorable trip you've taken.
Candidate is given 1 minute to prepare.
All right, I'm ready. One of the most memorable trips I've taken was last summer when I visited Paris, France. It was my first time in Europe, and it was truly an amazing experience.
That sounds exciting. Please go on and describe the trip in more detail.
Well, during my trip to Paris, I visited iconic landmarks like the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre Museum. The architecture and history of the city were fascinating. I also tried various French dishes like croissants and escargot, which were quite different from what I'm used to. The highlight of the trip was when I took a boat ride on the Seine River, and I got to see the city from a different perspective. The whole experience was unforgettable, and I made some wonderful memories.
It sounds like a fantastic trip. Now, let's move on to the final part. I'll ask you some questions related to the topic you just discussed.
Sure, go ahead.
What did you learn from this trip to Paris?
I learned a lot about French culture and history. It made me appreciate the beauty of different cultures and their contributions to the world.
Did you face any challenges during your trip?
Yes, I did. The language barrier was a bit challenging since my French is limited. However, most people in Paris were very understanding and tried to help me in English.
That's good to hear. Thank you, John, for sharing your experience. That brings us to the end of the speaking test. It was a pleasure talking with you today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure for me as well.
Thank you for watching the video and do not forget to support us and subscribe to the channel to receive all new updates.